about to find out if a pro cyclist go faster than a professional inline skater. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for tuning in. In this video, I'm about to find out if a pro cyclist can go faster than a professional inline skater. My name is Victor Hallthorpe. I have literally just returned from the Winter Olympics where I got second in speed skating. While that is my professional career, inline/ice skating, I am a fairly good cyclist, and I believe the numbers I can put out will not be that far from the professionals. I have an FTP score above 400 watts, so I do think we can make a fair comparison. For this test, for this video, I am out here on a perfect clear road. It's a 400-meter track, and I'm gonna do loops on that one, on the bike and on the skates. So the way I'm gonna carry out this test is that every 1 kilometer, I am going to increase my speed by 3 kilometers per hour. We're then gonna compare the heart rates so that we can see at different speeds how much easier is it on a bike or on the inline skates to maintain that pace. And then ultimately, at some point, one of them will not be able to keep up with the other. I'm gonna do this on the bike first, and then I'm gonna switch onto the skates. Obviously, I'll take massive rest in between so that there is no unfair advantage to the bike or the inlines. And then we're simply just gonna see which one goes faster. I know a lot of you guys have already asked for this video because at the Olympics, I think most people realize, wow, these speed skaters go plus 60 kilometers per hour. That's crazy. That is the same speeds that we see in cycling. But when you're out there alone trying to keep a pace, and obviously skating we do it for shorter, but what is the actual intensity as we're going? Personally, I'm super curious and I'm not really sure which one is going to be faster. I have done many hours of continuous inline skating, and that's about the same speed as I would do on a bike in a somewhat close heart rate range. I do think the bike is going to be a little faster as we get up to higher speeds, and it does have the advantage that you don't have to carry your body weight, and I think that allows you to relax a little more. But we are gonna find out, so let's just get suited up and get going. Now obviously I'm gonna stay in the same clothes for either of the two tests, so there's no unfair aerodynamic advantage to one instead of the other. I am super curious to hearing what you guys have to say in the comment section below. Now obviously you can comment now or you can watch the whole video, which is kind of cheating. So go down there before you watch the rest and let me know your honest guess. My guess is that I'll be able to keep up on the inlines until we hit 44 kilometers per hour, and that is where throughout this entire test it's going to be really hard because there is going to be some carryover fatigue, which I also think is great having here as part of the comparison. And I think that one's going to be greater on the inlines than on the bike. So at that point I think it's going to be a little easier. I also think in the lower speeds it's going to be a little easier on the bike because you don't have to carry your body weight. You really just pedal a little bit once you get, once you're down at those speeds. And then I think somewhere in the middle it's going to even out a little because the cruise speed, especially since we've gotten bigger wheels in the inlines compared to what we used to have, I think that's going to be very close to each other. But you guys let me know. Now, if the goal is to find out how fast are professional cyclists compared to professional skaters, I obviously need the best of the best equipment. For this video, I'm using my regular bike that I've gotten from Canyon. That's an amazing bike. It's an aero bike. It's what the best riders out there are using. And I think that's going to give us a pretty good estimate of how fast do you go for a given wattage. And obviously, what is the heart rate going to be? This bike is fantastic. I love riding it, and I'm going to make some videos on this, but you would be surprised how much time I spent in the saddle. We're talking, in average, 15 hours per week throughout the entire pre and summer season, as I prefer for my skating events. For the skate, I use my Rollerblade skates. They're custom-made carbon boots, so they are tailored to my feet. They have 3 wheels. They're 125 millimeters each. That's the biggest we're allowed to use in international elite racing. So obviously that's what I'm on, and I think it's the fastest gear, whether that's the bike or the wheels or the skates, that you can get in either sport. So we're really talking top tier equipment. Suited up, ready to get going with the first test. Gonna start at 27 kilometers per hour, and then we're just gonna get 3 kilometers per hour faster and faster and faster until we figure out what the limit is. I have my metas on here, so you guys are coming with a 360 stick as well. Hop on. So at this point we're at some pretty low wattage, and same goes for the heart rate. basically at the 100 beats per minute mark. Also, it's a super fast bike, so a lot of it is just coming easy here. I think, as you can see the road here, it's super nice, smooth tarmac, which definitely favors the inline skates. Makes it a lot harder to skate on bad surface, whereas the bike is still easier because it doesn't really change your technique, and yeah, things just don't get as complicated. You bike the same way, maybe it's just a little uncomfortable. But where inline skating is a whole different world, so this is definitely in inline's favor. No turns, but they're still nice and wide, so it doesn't change much. We do see kind of as predicted here, even at the early stage, simply because you always have this 90-degree knee bend position. Heart rate is 115, so it's about 10 beats higher than at the same speed on the bike. I do think as we go a little faster, that'll kind of even out for a while, because there's that sweet spot. It's like inline technique, the equipment, everything is kind of made for that 30 to 40 kilometers per hour range. So noticing now that we're getting closer to 110, a little above 110 beats per minute, that there is a bit of wind, which that favors the bike. Yeah, skating is first of all, it's annoying when there's a headwind. Same on the bike, but on the inlines you do skate differently, you skate worse. So it's not just the physical impact, but a lot of things play in there. And same in the headwind, it's really hard keeping the momentum because you don't have gears like you do on a bike. Still keeping that trend about 10 beats per minute higher than on the bike at 30 kilometers an hour. Significant difference on inlines compared to on the bike. When you're in the headwind, it's way harder, but then in the tailwind, it's not that bad. It's like easier just cruising with it when you get that tailwind. And now 140, slowly doing more and more double push, a little lower, a little more extension in the crossovers, but still pretty relaxed, good flow, not too bad. So here at 36, 280 watts, and heart rate bumped up to 140, so we're going places. So here at 36, it's actually where we have the smallest gap in beats per minute compared to the bike. And yeah, flow is pretty nice. I'm starting to feel some carryover fatigue because you're in that position. And just every minute you take so many more steps on the bike, which is good for blood flow, and you just don't build any lactate at this stage on the bike. Well, I do feel that here on the inlines. Ending with 39k kilometer, heart rate 150, 358 watts. So getting close to my threshold. I'll probably gonna be last time I chat, 440 watts and 42k. Alright, so here we got the average power for each step, and yeah, definitely I think it's good to end it on that last step, because I can tell the turns, they seem wide, but when you go into them, it's starting to become risky pedaling in the turns. But I think it's the perfect environment to make it fair between, you know, this setup and skates, because there are turns in skating. Obviously it's nicer on skates because you can do the crossover technique, and on a bike it's a little less comfy, and I think that was kind of fair. Well, that was fun. Worked out pretty well. I think at the end I realized that the turns got a little tight for a bike, because you know, you can't really pedal when it gets too tight,
and I ended it at 45 kilometers per hour, but that's also what I think will be the max, if not even less, on inlines. So here at the end, capped it off 45, I think got close to 500 watts for the last kilometer average, and heart rate about 159. Analyzed the data here, but I think it was pretty much spot on that for every single step I was about 10 beats per minute heartbeat above what I was on the bike for the same speed. And ultimately that added up that I went to 45 kilometers per hour on the bike, and here I had to call it after 42. So I think that goes to show that it is a little easier to maintain that same speed on a bicycle. And again, I am world elite class on inlines. I am not a world or pro tour rider on a bike. I think for this test I definitely had the wattage and the skills to at least show a fair comparison, but I think if we had a pro cyclist, knew how to sit on the bike aerodynamically and could push even harder, we would obviously see maybe another 3 kilometers per hour of difference for the same output. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I love stuff like this. I obviously love skating. It's what I do for a living. I love doing this. I love sharing it with you guys, and you can follow me on my OnlyFans channel. I post so much more stuff from workouts, from training there. And yeah, so just hope I'll see you there. If not, hit subscribe here if you thought this was interesting. And let me know in the comments what you guessed, the honest answer, and also what I should test next. I have a little extra time on my hands in the spring. It's the end of the season, so I do get a little kind of break. This is a great way to stay fit. But if you have other ideas or just sharing curiosity, I want to know what you think in the comment section. Until next time, guys, have fun on the bike or on the skates, and massive shout out to the sponsors, Rollerblade, Canyon, for providing amazing equipment. Couldn't do it without them. See ya.